Hey, so I'm creating this vlog because I'm starting a small business here in Las Vegas and just want to document what it takes to start a small business and kind of make a little video series out of it. Small business is a little bakery. Gonna start by just doing breads for right now, particularly banana bread. That's gonna be the forefront of the business, and then branch out into some other stuff, some other breads, some other baked goods, and just kind of see where it goes from there. I've never started a small business before, and I've never done anything in the food industry, so everything here is really new for me. I'm taking you with me on this process basically from the very beginning. I've started the small business technically. I've done like the initial steps, but I'm going to do a little breakdown here just to show you what I've done, kind of catch you up to speed, and hopefully this will be like some good stepping stones for moving into the future, so we kind of like are all on the same page where we're going with this. So without further ado, let me break this whole thing down and give you a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. I want to show you what I've already done and what I still need to do in regards to starting this business. But before doing that, I think a business outline is necessary just to show what my plan for this business is. So the business is going to be called Best Banana Bread. The LLC was formed as Best Banana Bread LLC, and then a doing business as name was formed as Best Banana Bread, just dropping the LLC. The reason it's Best Banana Bread is because, well, that really is the face of the business. Banana bread is going to be the main product, followed by other breads. Currently it is mid-October, and for Thanksgiving and Christmas I'd like to try to sell some pumpkin breads. I think some chocolate breads would also be a good mix just to throw in there. Kind of a sweet bread, almost like a dessert. And why not something with Nutella? Everybody likes Nutella, right? In thinking a little further ahead here, we have Valentine's Day coming up. Red velvet bread might be a fun option. And then for the following summer, we could do some kind of a citrus bread. All of these are just kind of initial ideas. I mean, anything could happen, and the path is not really set in stone, so as things come up and new ideas form, we'll see where it goes. I'd really like to put together some type of holiday packages. I imagine those would include little mini breads that would be wrapped up and sold kind of in gift sets. After the breads, obviously the next logical path is following down the road of baked goods. So cookies, cakes, and other baked goods would be the next step. There's three places that I want to focus on selling. The first place, and the main platform, is online sales. I think if marketed correctly and targeted towards the correct audience, these have a potential to really sell themselves online. And part of the beauty of selling online is you don't need a storefront, which keeps your overhead significantly lower. The next place I'd like to sell is farmers markets. By developing a local presence, our name would get out there, and I think that would help us further grow. We're currently in Las Vegas, but if farmers markets go well, I don't see any reason why expanding out to Utah, to Salt Lake City, Arizona, Phoenix, and even out into California might be options in the future. Lastly, I think selling door-to-door might be effective. Just to simply knock on doors and have a free slice available and say, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything right here, right now, but please take this free slice that has a label with all our information on, and if you like our product, please go and buy some online or give me a call, and I would love to personally come over and deliver it. So everything is being baked in a commercial commissary kitchen. So that is a shared kitchen space. You pay a monthly rental fee that is significantly lower than if it was your own kitchen. You get 32 hours a month that you can go in there and bake your product. The kitchen is obviously approved by the health department and is up to code. You couldn't do this out of your own house and sell online, so a commercial kitchen was kind of a necessity. The long-term goal of this business, and I'm talking way, way in the future, is to be able to use this as a stepping stone in opening up a fast food restaurant concept that I have. I'm not going to speak much about the idea. That'll be a video for another day. But this business will hopefully be able to help get a bank loan in the future. Part of getting that bank loan, you need to be able to show a couple years experience in the industry. And furthermore, this will give me personal experience in running my own food-based business. My idea for the fast food concept is a lot larger than just a small bakery. So this will really get my feet wet and let me experience what it needs and what it takes to do something like this. That's supposed to be a baked bread and a smiley face, but considering how this is an art class, let's move on to what I've already done for this business and what still needs to be done. So what have I already done? Well, I went and formed the LLC as Best Banana Bread LLC. When doing that in the state of Nevada, you automatically get your state business license. But then I had to go and fill a DBA name, which is your doing business as name, and just did Best Banana Bread. So all I did was drop the LLC. That requires going to a state building here in Las Vegas and just filling out some paperwork. Then I did the seller's tax permit, because you need a seller's tax permit. That was done online, and then had to go get my reseller's permit. To do that, I had to go to a tax office here in town and ask them to print it out for me. And while doing that, I got signed up with the commissary kitchen. I took a tour of the kitchen, asked the owner a whole bunch of questions, and decided the kitchen was in a good location in proximity from where I live, so decided that kitchen would probably be good to go. Next, I got the health department licenses. And to do that, I had to call the health department and schedule an appointment with an inspector to explain my entire business idea, my menu, my plan, all of the good stuff. They wanted information from the commissary kitchen, which I had to submit to them. And then I went one morning and sat down with the health department and explained what my idea was and my entire business plan. During this appointment, the health inspector told me I needed to build a hand washing station for the farmers markets. A portable hand washing station that would be able to dispense hot water so I could wash my hands while at the farmers markets in order to give out free samples. The health department scheduled a meeting with me 2 weeks later at the kitchen. At that time, they said they would want to see my portable hand washing station. I didn't write it on this list, but I did build a portable hand washing station, and I actually have some footage of me doing so. The health department licenses I received was a food establishment permit and an annual itinerant/seasonal permit. I had no idea what permits I needed, but the health inspector was actually really nice, and she told me what I would need and really helped me along with the process. As you already know, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to opening up a food business, so they were very helpful and accommodating towards me in understanding what I need to do. After getting the health department licenses, I had to get my Clark County business license. Las Vegas is within Clark County, and you do need a Clark County business license along with a state business license. So I filed for that online. I had to submit receipts from the health department along with my state business license to show that I am legitimate and actually opening up a business. Somewhere in doing all of this, I also opened up a small business checking account through Bank of America and got my merchant services through them. They use Clover, so when I'm at farmers markets, I'll have one of those Clover devices that I'll be able to accept payments from, and they will also be my merchant for online. I've been with Bank of America for years and years and years, so they gave me a good deal because I am a very small business and because I am a long-term customer. I also went and got a business phone, just a pay-as-you-go iPhone, old iPhone that I bought on eBay, and got a pay-as-you-go plan on it. I created a mailing address. It is just a P.O. box through UPS, but it is a street address. And then I acquired www.bestbananabread.com, and that'll be the website and really our storefront. I also got in touch with a graphic design artist and had a logo created. And I'm sure I'm missing some steps on this list, but the last thing I have on here is I found a food supplier, which is Restaurant Depot. They're basically a Costco for businesses, well, particularly food businesses. To be able to shop there, I had to bring in my state business license and my seller's tax permit. They set you up with an account, so everything I buy there, I do not get charged tax on because I resell it. So the tax actually comes on the back end. I'm sure I've done more that I just forgot to put on this list, but this stuff here took me hours and hours on top to do. I wish I had started this vlog before I even formed the LLC, just so you could get an idea of what it took to do all of this. But simple stuff like getting the tax permit or getting a license or meeting with the health department, while on paper it doesn't seem like very much, all of that required me figuring out that I had to do that, going and actually sitting and doing those meetings, or trying to file my stuff correctly online, making sure everything was correct. And I have no guide to do this. I had nothing other than constant Googling, constant reading on the websites, trying to figure this out all by myself. So the best advice I can give to anyone who's starting a business is you're going to have to figure out what your state requires. You're almost undoubtedly going to need an LLC. If you're selling a good, you're going to need a tax permit. You're going to need business licenses. You may need both state and county business license. If you're doing something specific like food, you're going to need health department licenses. But the biggest advice I can really give is don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call people. I was on the phone constantly with the health department and the state, and they are there to help you. They will answer your questions and point you in the right direction. And yes, it can seem very daunting at first, and when you start getting into opening up a business, it can seem very overwhelming. But if you stick with it and you start asking questions, people start pointing you in the right place, everything else just kind of falls into place on its own, and next thing you know, you're way down the line, and it doesn't seem as bad anymore. The list of what needs to be done might be a lot smaller on paper, but it's still going to require a lot of hours and is still a lot of work before all of this will actually be completed. One of the first and top priorities that I have to do are the labels. You cannot sell anything online unless you have approved labels on the product. So I have to create labels for all my products that I'm thinking of and then go and have a label review, which is done with the state, and once they approve my labels, I can start selling online. The catch with the labels is every time I have an appointment to have the labels reviewed, it costs me approximately $100. So if during that appointment I have just one label that needs to be reviewed, that costs $100. But if I have 10 labels with me, that also costs $100. It's by appointment. So with that in mind, I'm not sure if I should develop all my long-term products, even though I just really want to focus on banana breads for right now, and then shortly followed by pumpkin breads. Maybe it's best just to do banana breads and pumpkin breads and then pay the $100 when I have a better feel for what I'm doing. I have to get all the supplies for the kitchen. That includes stuff like baking sheets, mixing bowls, spoons, whisks, all the necessary baking equipment. And then I have to test the products. Of course, I've tested the products at home, but I am yet to test or bake anything in the commercial kitchen. The product has to be as close to as ready to go as if somebody bought it off the website, so we can really run some quality control and see what's happening when it gets shipped and how people actually like it. I have to build the website, which is www.bestbananabread.com, and then create all the social media accounts to go with that, which would include Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then lastly on the list is I have to get everything for the farmers market set up and actually run a little setup at my house just to make sure I am prepared for when it's time to actually go to the farmers market. That would include setting up the local merchant, which is the card reader that I got from Bank of America to accept payments. Even though I actually have that thing, I am yet to open up the box and do anything with it. There's obviously more that could be added to this list, and there will always be more that could be added to this list, But this is a good start for now, and stuff that is in the forefront of my focus when it comes to what is needed for the business for right now. So that's it. That's kind of what I've done from the beginning all the way up to this point. I get that that was kind of long and monotone, but I felt like I had to write all that stuff down just to really lay down a good foundation so you know where I am in this process. I know this really wasn't much of a vlog. I wouldn't really call this video a vlog, but hopefully the future videos will be much more like vlogs, much more cinematic, and not just me sitting and writing for 12 minutes and explaining everything in front of a camera at my kitchen table. I'm definitely still a little nervous in front of the camera, but this has been pretty fun to shoot and put together. So I think I'm going to stick with this video series and try to make something really cool of it. So if you stick around, hopefully you should see another video really soon.
Look at Rose.
Rose? Rose?